Hooray for Hollywood, that screwy valley, hooey Hollywood.
Hey everybody, this is Glenn Tribitz for Hollywood Piano, and I'm speaking to you direct from beautiful downtown Burbank in our Hollywood Piano Network HPN studios here. And I'm very, very pleased to welcome you to our digital piano fair and our first seminar, which is about the differences in piano brands. Now, if you have questions about piano brands, please send us messages here through Facebook, and we'll try to answer as many questions as we can at the end of the seminar or directly to you at the end of the seminar. Now, the digital piano world has changed a lot, and if you're not familiar with the current products being offered by the major manufacturers, then you're in for a giant surprise, because digital piano technology has really advanced over the last number of years. One of the reasons is, of course, digital pianos are based on some computer technology, and as we all know, computers have advanced a lot in the last few years. So it only goes to reason that digital pianos would have advanced as well. Now, in the world of digital pianos, there are four major manufacturers, and those are Roland, Casio, Yamaha, and Kawai. These four companies sort of set the bar for the rest of the industry. Now, it's interesting because all four of these major digital piano manufacturers are based in Japan. In Japan, they all sort of vie for position, and around the world, they all sort of vie for position. The differences between the companies are pretty vast because, as we all know, the Yamaha company, they're a great company. They make guitars and kazoos and tubas. They make jet skis, motorcycles. Great company. You have the Casio company. They make calculators. They make watches. They also make a lot of low-end keyboards, and they make some really great digital pianos. Then there's the Kawai company. The Kawai company makes acoustic pianos, and they also make digital pianos. And then there's Roland, and Roland is different than all the others because their focus is only on electronic musical instruments. And that has some benefits, which we'll talk about a little bit later in this little seminar presentation. Now, there are other digital pianos made in the world. There's another company from Japan called Korg that also makes digital pianos, but they still tend to stay in a lower price range digital. They don't really compete with the other four in higher price digitals, digital grand pianos, and things like that. There is another company that's from Korea called Dynatone. It's the largest digital piano manufacturer in Korea, and they mostly import to the United States grand pianos, and their grand pianos have a player function. So for maybe half the price of an acoustic baby grand piano, you can get their baby grand piano, which is a full 5-foot baby grand, with a player option for about half of what an acoustic player piano. And they are, again, the largest in Korea. The largest digital piano maker in Italy is a company called Decibel. Now, Decibel's factory was once part of Roland in Italy, and they got rid of that, sold that to the Decibel people. So there's a lot of similarities in technology between Roland and Decibel. In China, there are dozens upon dozens of digital piano makers, and you can go on to Amazon and see things like Donner and other off names, things you don't know about. There's dozens with names that make no sense at all. And all of these companies basically use one internal brain chip, which is called the Dream chip, which was invented in France. And so most of these companies have the limitations of that chip. It's an old chip. It's fairly limited in what it can do and the amount of polyphony that it's able to produce. But there is one large digital piano manufacturer in China, and this is OneSmart. They are the largest digital piano manufacturer in China. They're the biggest selling piano in China, and their thing is all about education. The OneSmart interfaces with other tech products. For example, you can interface it with your phone. You can interface it with your Android or iOS tablet. You can interface it with your computer. And it's already set up with the software that free of charge. The software is a free download, and it allows you to have an interactive teaching experience for as little as $300. They have one unit that's under $300 that allows you to have this kind of interactive teaching experience. Now, prior to that, if you wanted this kind of interactive follow the lights teaching experience, well, the Yamaha company makes that, but it is quite expensive. You'd have to spend thousands of dollars to get that. So when we look at the differences between digital piano brands, we have to look at first the feel of the piano. So there are different kind of actions for digital pianos. There is an action which is completely not weighted at all, and it's what we call spring-loaded action. So a spring-loaded action doesn't really give you the feel of an acoustic piano, although it gives you a little bit of resistance. It's similar to what they used to do in organs years ago, and spring-loaded actions are found in little keyboards that you might see at Walmart or Target or Costco or places like that. Then there's also semi-weighted keyboards. Now, semi-weighted keyboards have some weight to them, but they're not weighted exactly like a piano. And then there's weighted keyboards that feel like pianos. They try to respond like pianos. And sometimes they're successful at it, but oftentimes they're not successful at it. For example, a piano key should go down when weight is put on the key. But if you put weight on certain digital pianos that are quote-unquote weighted keys, you'll notice that the key doesn't go down. So it's not really responding like an acoustic piano should, except that it feels weighted. Now, some digital piano manufacturers, a few in particular, have developed an action that actually goes down when you put weight on the key when you're not pressing it. Because if you put weight on an acoustic piano key, it will go down. But on some digital pianos, it does not go down. When we post this on our continuing ability for people to see it, we'll put a link to a video that we did about Roland pianos where we show the difference putting weight on a key and showing the key go down or the key not go down. So there's the action. Now, there's one other element to the action that is even above the weighted keys. That's an escapement. So upright pianos don't have an escapement. Grand pianos have an escapement. And the escapement, if I were to put it in layman's terms, is a little bump you have to press through. So if you go over to a grand piano and you press the key very, very, very softly, at some point you'll feel a little resistance that you have to push through. That's the escapement. Most digital pianos, and especially almost all keyboard instruments, do not offer a grand piano escapement. So even at the very best, what you're getting is an upright piano action, not a grand piano action. Now, some companies do offer an escapement, but if you play it consistently, you'll notice it's very inconsistent in its ability to produce the escapement. So a company that has the weighted action along with the escapement, that really sets things apart and gives you an action that's very, very true to life. So let's talk about sound. So if we're looking at something like a low-priced Chinese piano from China that you buy on Amazon, What's the difference between that and something that might be sold through a professional piano company like Hollywood Piano? So a lot of people are buying these really cheap digital pianos from China that show up on Amazon. The thing is, the sound is just a few steps above what an organ would be. You know, the nuances of getting a piano sound is extraordinarily layered, and it's very technical. And a lot of companies just record a piano. So if you record a piano and you play it back by playing the keys, because that's what happens. This is what's called a sample. You record the sound, and its playback is done when you push on the key. Now, in order to get authenticity, you would need lots and lots of memory to record every note. So they don't record every note. They record, maybe one note here and then 6 notes up another note and 6 notes up another note. And then they take attacks that could be like 6 different, okay, here's a soft, here's a medium, here's a loud, here's a louder. So if I play the piano, I have infinite amount of attacks. But on a digital piano, they can only record certain amount of attacks, maybe as much as 7, 8, or 9 different attacks. And then an algorithm moves you from the various attacks. But what you notice on a lot of pianos, especially some of the lower priced pianos, but even higher priced pianos from a few of the major companies, if I play a very soft attack would be pianissimo. So if I play pianissimo and maybe I play a triple pianissimo, that's very, very softly with your keys on the piano. Many of these instruments, especially the lower price ones, but even some of the major brands, if I play a triple pianissimo, what I'm hearing is the volume you'd expect a triple pianissimo, but not the attack. What is attack? When I play the piano, if I hit the key very, very lightly, I get a sort of ding, ding. If I play the key very, very hard, I get a ding, and I get other kinds of sounds that are emanating from it because of the sound of pressing that key so hard and it hitting that string so hard. And that's the attack. And because a piano is infinite, I have infinite attacks. So I don't want to play the piano very soft as a pianist and hear an attack that would cause me to have to press considerably harder to get. And this is what some digital piano brands do, especially the low-priced brands from China that you see all over Amazon these days. So I like to call those things DOS. What is a DOS? A digital object shape. So it's shaped like a digital, but it doesn't really sound like a piano. These kind of instruments have a very short life, and what they're really missing is the inspiration factor. If you think you want to learn piano, you want to get back to piano, these instruments don't inspire you to do better, to play better. So what do you have to get in order to play better, be inspired, etc.? Well, there are some nice instruments that are, in the $500 to $1,000 range, made by Yamaha, Kawai, Roland, and Casio. They all make decent instruments in this range. They sound good, etc. But there's only one in that range that has the escapement that we spoke about a little bit earlier, and that's Roland. So if you want something that has the feel of a grand piano in that lower priced keyboard slab range, Roland is the only one that gives you that escapement action. Now, as we move up the range, you'll notice that none of the other companies give you the escapement as we even move up in price range. Some of them, like for example Casio, even on their best hybrid grand, which is a very nice product, they do not offer the escapement. You have to go up to a very high price point in Yamaha to get the escapement. With Kawai as well, the escapement. And some of them, like I've played some of the other companies' escapements, and they're inconsistent. If you play the note repeatedly fast, you're not getting the escapement repeatedly fast. So that's something, if you're a pianist, you need to check for yourself. Is that escapement actually happening every time you're playing, if you're playing something fast? I have to tell you, on the Roland, it does. The escapement is there every time you hit that note and you hit it repeatedly fast. It's there. So as we move up in line, so Roland has on their lower priced pianos something called the Supernatural piano. And this is something that uses mostly sampling combined with their model of pianos. And it has limited polyphony. And what is polyphony? That's how many notes you can play at the same time. And you might say, well, how many do I need? I have 10 fingers and there's only 88 notes on a piano. The more polyphony that you have, the more realistic the tone. This is what a lot of quote unquote experts out there on the internet talk about. Oh, you only need 256 notes. You only need 3. That's assuming that all you're doing is playing the notes and holding the damper pedal, but you don't care about the realism of the piano sound. What creates the realism? When we play the piano, and say we just play a single note, and you notice the pedals on the bottom of the piano. Those are called the dampers. So if you press a note and play the damper, hit the damper, that note resonates. But because the dampers are removed from the strings, all of the notes are resonating. So with more polyphony, more notes resonate for longer. So years ago, we had, just 8 notes polyphony. That was 8 notes you could play at the same time. Then 16 notes. Then for a long time, 48, and then 64 notes. And yeah, that's a decent amount of polyphony. But many people did not like digital pianos because they didn't produce the experience of playing piano. The experience involves things that engineers were not able to do on prior digital pianos. And one of those things is the realism that comes from all of the strings. So if I'm playing something like a concerto, and I have the damper pedal pressed, all those notes that I'm playing with all those fingers is resonating through all of the strings. Now, if I had a limited amount of polyphony, at a certain point, I'd lose some of that ringing. And with unlimited polyphony, I don't lose anything. So the growl that you get when you're playing in the bass and multiple notes with the damper pedal pressed is there. The twinkling that you get in the upper register when you're playing a lot of notes and the damper is pressed and the notes are spreading out through all the strings in the piano, those are there with unlimited polyphony. The only pianos that have unlimited polyphony are the Roland and the company that used to be part of Roland, which is Decibel. These are the only 2 companies that have unlimited polyphony on the piano sound, which gives you the realism that you can't get from anything else. Now, everybody else is limited, whether it's 256 notes, 360 notes. Again, you can have more than the polyphony ringing when the dampers are open and you continue to play notes. These instruments with the modeling technology are the only ones that will give you that degree of realism that you expect as a pianist. So when you combine that degree of realism because of the unlimited polyphony with the escapement action, the experience for the pianist is the closest that it is to any piano built today. And again, that's available only on Roland and Decibel, both brands that we carry here at Hollywood Piano. In addition to, we have the wonderful Casio hybrid grands, and also the OneSmart and the Dynatones. But if you're looking for the authenticity, that's the Roland is going to give you that authenticity of touch and the authenticity of experience as you're hearing all those notes. There's another element to digital pianos that are great, and one of the advantages that they have, which is, number one, you never need to tune them. Acoustic pianos need to be tuned. We recommend 2 times a year to 4 times a year if you're playing it a lot. And that today, is running $100, $150, $200, depending on who the piano tuner is. So that's a big savings with digital pianos. Now, digital pianos in general have a shorter warranty than acoustic pianos. Most acoustic pianos have a 10-year parts and labor warranty, which we double here at Hollywood Piano and make it 20 years. On acoustic pianos, we see them last pretty much forever. If you buy a piano, you can pretty well rest assured that piano is going to be with you for the rest of your life if you take good care of it. Now, digital pianos, on the other hand, are based on computer technology, and we know that that is going forward all the time. Now, there is, though, one company that gives a warranty that's similar to acoustic piano. That is Roland, which is a 10-year parts and labor warranty, versus the 3 major Japanese competitors, Yamaha, Kawai, Casio. Those are all 5-year parts and labor warranty. So Roland's warranty is double that. How can Roland do that? Well, it's very simple. The engineering and the electronics has a 99.9% non-failure rate. It's kind of unheard of in technology, but Roland electronics do not fail. But the keyboard is what allows them to do a 10-year parts and labor warranty. Today, a lot of the premium digital piano makers and even some of the lower priced makers from other countries are putting wood action into a digital piano. Now, you might think, wow, that's great. They're able to use wood, real wood action in a digital piano. Well, wood has its disadvantages. Let's remember, piano was invented over 300 years ago, and what material did they have for keys? Wood. So putting wood action into a modern digital piano is sort of analogous to hooking an old Smith Corona typewriter up to the latest Apple M2 computer. I mean, it's just sort of ridiculous. Why? Well, wood expands, wood contracts. Theoretically, a wood action in a digital piano will need the kind of maintenance that it does in an acoustic piano, with keys expanding, swelling, needing to be eased, etc. Roland has solved this problem by using an ABS styrene key, which will probably outlive us all. But as pianists, we like the feel of wood against our fingers. Our fingers rub against the side of the keys. We like to feel wood. It feels familiar. It feels reassuring. So Roland has taken that key, that ABS styrene key, and they've put wood inserts into the side. So for the pianist, we have the feel of real wood next to our fingers in a key that will be maintenance and trouble-free for their 10-year warranty. So this is a very big advantage for the Roland Piano Company. You know what's funny is the Kawai Piano Company, which is a great piano company, they pioneered the use of ABS styrene in their acoustic pianos. And if you go to their website page and read about that action, they'll talk about how they've solved the problems of wood in their acoustic pianos by using styrene carbon fiber actions. Okay, so then why are you putting wood into your digital pianos? They were the first company, large company, to incorporate wood, so it would give them a marketing point. But on the same web page, acoustic pianos, yeah, we've solved the problem of wood. We're using plastic. Digital pianos, oh, we're using wood. Same website. So, you know, it's all marketing. But the truth of the matter is, Roland's action will outlast any piano company's action out there. Now, when we look at some of the lower priced pianos, the actions in those are really hit or miss, especially some of the inexpensive stuff that we're seeing, you know, on the internet, on Amazon and eBay and those sorts of things. We have many people come to us after they bought those things and they're so disappointed, and they trade up to quality instruments, and we help them out. We try to take it back and give them something for it, and then possibly donate it to some school or worthy organization. But if we go back to the 4 major digital piano companies, what we notice in those companies is they all make high quality product. That's not a knock of any of them. But the Roland Piano Company does stand head and shoulders above them because 10-year warranty versus 5-year warranties. Escapement action on every piano they make versus escapement action only on some pianos. Escapement actions that work every single time you play them in repetition versus escapement actions that are sort of hit or miss on other companies. And then on the premium instruments from Roland, unlimited Polyphony, unlimited attack. These are great, great advantages for the Roland digital piano line. Now, excuse me, I need a little drink here. So let's talk a little bit about entry level. I go to China every year and I go to the music trade show and I look at all the stuff that's being made by all these companies that wind up on Amazon and eBay, etc. And excuse me, I really don't care for any of them, and that's why I never got involved. I could have, you know, you can buy them for 10 cents over there. Not quite, but I'm just exaggerating. But there is one company I saw over there a number of years ago, and I really liked their product because of the technology, and that's OneSmart. And we are one of the only brick and mortar representatives of OneSmart in the entire United States. What's cool about OneSmart is for $300, you can get a 61-note piano that interfaces with your iPad, your Android tablet, your computer, your phone, and it becomes your interactive teacher. It tells you when you made a mistake. It doesn't let you move forward until you play the right note. And the software is free. It's a free download on any of the platforms. So it's one of the greatest advances. They've won all sorts of technology awards. And when I first saw them in China years ago, they only had one small keyboard. Now they have multiple keyboards, piano slabs, which are very nice. They're, again, the only Chinese company that's using their own chips. They have a larger full-size home digital piano and even something in a high-gloss cabinet. And again, as I said, we're one of the few companies in the whole country to have these physically on display so you can see them. And we have a great program where you can start with the $300 one, go up to the $800 one, then go to the $1,500 one, and we'll take back the original one at the full amount you paid for it, and you can move up to the next one. So that is a great product, and we're very proud to be representing them. Now, if anyone has any questions about the digital piano's world and the digital piano offerings, I'll be happy to answer them. Direct your questions to the messages on our Hollywood Piano Facebook site here, and we'll answer as many as we can. So I want to thank everybody who attended our first Facebook Live seminar. We have 2 more coming up. Both of them are going to be on Wednesday nights. They'll be coming up on Wednesday, this coming Wednesday at 6:30. I believe that's the 17th. Is that the 17th? And then the 24th at 6:30. Both are 17 and 24 at 6:30 for our next 2 seminars. They're going to be different subjects on both seminars. And again, if you have any questions you'd like me to answer on those seminars, please send them to us at the messages at Hollywood Piano here on Facebook. I hope you enjoyed this seminar, and look forward to seeing you for the next 2. Come in and visit us during our digital piano fair, and we'll be happy to show you all the different digital pianos available. We have the Roland, we have the Casio, we have the Decibel, we have the OneSmart, we have the Dynatone, we have pre-owned Yamaha and Kawai, all in our store. So come over, say hello, and you can see all of these instruments together. This is Glenn Tribitz for Hollywood Piano saying there's no life without music, and there's no music without life. Bye for now.
Hooray for Hollywood, that screwy valley